Hello everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Kitty Plays Whatever She Feels Like Playing, whenever she wants to play it. Hello folks, before I begin this video I want to apologize for the absolute awful game quality of the video. I've never recorded and edited something from my phone, so this was a new experience for me. If I do another episode of something like this in the future, I'll know better than to start recording a landscape game in portrait mode and then scaling it up in an awful and unattractive way. Thank you many much, and I hope you enjoy the video. Over the past week or two, I've really gotten kind of into Ace Attorney, so yeah. I feel as though it should be noted that I have played the Switch version, which is the first 3 games. To make sure the defendant is found guilty. What other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. That may be true, but why? Why go this far? Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough, but a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. No matter what the cost. I'm a prodigy among prosecutors. Always have been, always will be. March 14th, 2:05 a.m., Prosecutor's Building, a 12th floor hallway. Hello, Miles. It's hard to believe that I've been away from my office for a whole month. I feel like it should be noted that I did play this game a little bit, because I couldn't really help myself. I was very curious. I stopped a little bit after the second case, though, so... Yay! Let's go. I hope Detective Gumshoe has been keeping an eye on my office, and keeping it clean. The door is unlocked. Detective Gumshoe? What's the smell? It's very familiar. Blood. Oh shit, boy! A murder happened in your office! What the... What's the meaning of this? Freeze. Oh shit, Niles. Oh no. Identify yourself. Shut up. You've got some nerve committing murder in a prosecutor's office. Oh. Is that a threat? Let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. That's right, back up. My name is Miles Edgeworth. I'm gay as fuck, and I work as a prosecutor in my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I would be thrust into a multitude of cases in some very frantic and busy days. I finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Very well. Please continue your investigation as I wave my finger floppily towards you. Yes, sir. Ah! Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Are you okay, sir? Keep it down, detective. This is a crime scene. When I heard that a murder had taken place in your office, I ran up here straight away. This is Dick Gumshoe. He is a detective at the local precinct, and the one they assigned to handle this murder case for the time being. You're looking a little pale, sir. Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine, however. Ah, look what they did to your office. It's totally trash. I'll say. The culprit sullied my floor with dirt rather well. No one gets away with tracking mud into my office. Whoa, sounds like you're getting really burned up over this whole thing. This crime was committed in my office, so it is my responsibility to solve it. Ho ho, that's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, time to do some investigating. Agreed. Our first course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. We must not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. So I'll keep any leads or information we find etched in the forefront of my mind with my photographic memory. Speaking of things that pique my curiosity, why of all places did the murder occur in my office? I get the nagging feeling that something important, that this is something important to keep in mind. Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. I mean, you can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you? No, not really. Especially because of this. The key to your office. What do you mean, sir? If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you. Logic? I ain't never heard of that, sir. Gumshoe. You're precious and I love you. By finding the connection between two pieces of information and connecting them, new information is born. That is the end result of using logic. So how do you use it? First, I recall information through the logic button and then connect them together. Now, to touch the logic button and recall the facts. Alright, the crime scene happened in my office. So they had to have a key for it. For security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks, which means that it would have been hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it's impossible to dismiss the location of this crime as mere coincidence. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir. There must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after? You're really on the ball today, Mr. Edgeworth. That's some beautiful logic, sir. Yes, well, when you follow leads to their conclusion, only the truth remains. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I may stray far from the truth as well. But if I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. Well, let's get started with our investigation, shall we? Yes, sir! The basis of any good investigation is to examine everything, sir. I know that. And when I want to examine something, I simply touch the examine button. Oh, if you ever feel lost or want to talk, just touch the partner button, okay? I'll give you great, precise advice as an ace investigator, sir. Something to try later if I have free time, I suppose. And this is the game. It has a really, really weird movement, and this dot right here, the reason why it exists is because I am playing on the mobile. The dot that's in the center of the screen, yeah. Not the center of the screen, but the center of the circle. This is on the Play Store. This is on the Play Store, and I've always seen like 1 or 2 screenshots of the game before I actually started playing it, so... What have we here? Could this perhaps be the murder weapon? If so, it would mean that the killer made their escape after disposing of their gun here. I think I've seen one of those before. Care to enlighten me as to where? Oh, I know. I was issued the exact same model, I think. Detective. I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they're really dangerous. But now that I think about it, you do see this model around the precinct a lot, sir. I don't use mine much, except in emergency, so that's why I didn't recognize it. So it's the same type of revolver as the ones used by this precinct's detectives. Add that into my noggin. They finished photographing. I cannot speak. They finished photographing the body, so it should be alright to examine this area. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. But, no, I didn't mean to press that. This is the victim's wallet, probably. I think I've seen one of these before. It's a police badge, detective. Oh hey, I had that exact same thing actually. What a coinky-dink. Let's take a look inside. Buddy Faith. It would appear that our victim was a detective, just like you. I seem to have gathered a few pieces of pertinent information. Now to calmly use some logic and figure out if any of them are connected to each other. The victim was a detective, and the revolvers were issued by the detective, but to the precinct's detectives. So that means that the revolver had to belong to the victim, right? Yeah. The revolver is a standard model used by the detectives. Could it have belonged to our recently departed? Detective Gumshoe, would you please thoroughly check the victim's body one more time? Yes, sir. On it now, sir. Excuse me, pal. Let's see. What have we got here? Mr. Edgeworth, sir. This guy's wearing a gun holster. So it appears that our killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. Okay. Are you going to be okay with keeping track of the evidence we find, sir? Of course. This is the safest way I know how to keep track of it all. In my perfect photographic brain. Alright, if you say so. I keep all the evidence I find either in or with my organizer. When I want to re-examine a piece, I have but to touch the organizer button. But the organizer isn't only for evidence. I keep people's profiles on hand in it too. It's probably a good idea to make a habit of checking the facts often. Let's see what else we can find out about this revolver. As I always say, you've got to look real carefully at each piece of evidence. You can use the scroll wheels to rotate an object. There's no such thing as a bad angle. Use the slide bar to zoom in and out and get at the nitty-gritty. Alright, let's see how many bullets are in this. It looks like only one round was fired from this. Wow, so the killer killed Vic with just one shot after wresting the gun from him. Sounds like the guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? We have no proof for now, but that is a distinct possibility. And then these files are in complete disarray as well. They probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. Oh, not sure it's so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. I mean, this just rendered all the time and effort I put in pointless. I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room. Well, I watered the flowers every day, just like you requested, sir. I just added cleaning to the list as a weekend special. For about half a day every Saturday, I'd come in and clean this place until it sparkled. Does he have a life? So, there are signs of a struggle around the files. There's a chance the killer's goal was to mess up with the files, right? No. Pieces didn't fit together quite right. Well, those are the only two pieces of information that I actually have right now, so... Oh look, Steel Samurai. Let me... Well, it's a good thing my steel samurai doll was spared any harm. Speaking of which, I still haven't actually sat down and watched any of that show. What's it about again? Well, I don't know much about it myself, but... The hero of the Steel Samurai, warrior of Neo-Old Tokyo, is a Steel Samurai, and his goal is to defeat the evil magistrate. It's a show geared towards kids, however its high production values with riveting plot draws in a number of audiences and adults as well. Spin-offs like Pink Princess, Warrior of Little Old Tokyo, and the Nickel Samurai, along with the Delusion merchandise, and even a new stage show gives it presence. You sure know a lot. Are you sure you're not some sort of rabid fanboy? Of course not. Anyone that keeps up with society knows at least this much. And that conversation lasted longer than expected. Let us return to the investigation. Edgeworth, you... He's a nerd! You're a nerd! Alright, what do we got here? I hope we can solve this case quickly. I'd like to return to relaxing on the sofa. That thing looks like a billion times softer than my mattress at home. Can I sit on it too, just for a little while, sir? Detective Gumshoe, you know I can't allow that. Until this case is solved, neither of us has time to spare, let alone rest. You're right, sir. I'm gonna work hard and be a real trooper to the end. Even once this case is over, I don't think he can afford to take any time off. Yeah, because your pay keeps on getting cut. How's it coming along? Please, I need absolute silence. Fingerprint lifting is a delicate art. Well, I never. Someone really likes this job. Look at all these files. Her files are all over the floor, sir. They probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. Oh, and I tried so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. I mean, this just rendered all the time and effort I put in pointless. I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room. Well, I watered the flowers every day, just like you requested, sir. I just added cleaning to the list as a weekend special. For about half a day every Saturday, I'd come in and clean this place until it sparkled. Does he have a life? The answer to that is a no. What have you got for me, buddy? Sir, yes, sir. Nothing out of the ordinary right now, sir. And yet, there's something out of the ordinary right in front of my eyes. Talk about a contradiction. Something out of the ordinary, huh? I should look around a bit more. Why don't you just ask him what it is? It probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. Yeah. Alright, what do you got for me, Gumshoe? Do you notice anything? Is there anything you noticed that you'd like to share, Detective Gumshoe? Just that I rushed over here just as soon as I heard there was a murder in your office, sir. The investigation's just gotten started, so I guess there's not much else to say. So, were you the one that found the body, Mr. Edgeworth? Unfortunately, upon my return, I found my office door to be unlocked. And what awaited me inside was this whole messy affair. Ugh, that's rough. Even though I left the security of this room to a certain detective. Sorry, sir. I have a horrible memory, so I forget if there's something that I missed or not. Let's get the body a once-over. There's blood all over his lower abdominal area. It looks like the bullet passed clean through his stomach area, sir. In other words, he was shot. Yep. And until the autopsy's done, I don't think we'll know much more than that. Please have the body sent to the morgue once they're done processing the crime scene. Okay, documents. I guess this is about all we're going to find out. We should send the body to Gem! Why? Oh, why? Oh, how could this have happened to a guy like you? Are you alright? Don't touch me! Leave me alone! Just let me be! Sorry, but I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body. The body? The body? Don't talk about him like he's just some lump of flesh! Look at him. Jim looks like he's just turned in for the night. Sure. Just in a bloodstained suit, pal. Where are my manners? Says the killer. Aren't you that prosecutor? Why, yes, I am. I'm Jacques Portman, prosecutor. Jim here was my partner in crime busting. I'm Miles Edgeworth, and like you, I am also a prosecutor. In fact, this is my office. So please get the fuck out. Detective Dick Gumshoe, sir. So you're Miles Edgeworth. I guess this is your office? Yes, that is correct. Then it was you. You were the one who killed Jim. Hey, don't go around jumping to conclusions, pal. Just calm down, okay? I will not! I know how things work around here. High prosecutor's office doors all have locks built into them. And only the owner of the office has a key to his or her own office door. That is correct. However, I was not the one who killed your partner. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on a business trip this whole time, pal. And the key to the door was with me the entire time, okay? So the only one who could get in here was me! Wait, that means... I'm not sure what that means. Gumshoe, you're precious. So what was you then? You're Jim's killer. No way, pal, you got it all wrong. Everyone, calm down! Mr. Portsman, correct? If you are a real prosecutor, you should know to stay collected. The investigation has only just begun. Isn't it too early to be drawing conclusions? Alright, I get the point. You're right, my mistake. I tend to get a little too hot-headed sometimes. You sure are one cool customer though, Mr. Edgeworth. I've heard all the rumors about you. You're the great genius prosecutor. You're something of a legend, you know. Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? A pleasure to work with you. You guys were conducting your investigation, right? Sorry for barging in like that. Carry on then. It's your room after all. Thank you, I intend to. I just want a little more time to say goodbye to Jim. You there! Sir! I want you to capture the scene on film for me. My final farewell to my partner, Jim. I should probably give them some space. Oh hey look, it's this. Ah! Your jacket, sir! What is it doing on the floor? It must have fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing a round. So the killer not only shot the victim, but they shot your jacket as well? They dared to shoot the ultra-special jacket that you made prosecutorial debut in. What if they had shot through it? It would have been a disaster! It's not worth getting worked up over, Detective. Not when there's something more here. Huh? Like what? I take it you haven't noticed it yet, Detective. There is a giant contradiction right here in front of us. Really? Did I say contradiction? He must be rubbing off on me. I'm starting to sound like him. God, I'm so gay. But I have my own methods and I will conduct this investigation my way. When the scene before me contradicts a piece of evidence or seems off, that's when my deductive skills come into play. First, I had to find the spot that holds the contradiction. It's this, of course. This bullet hole is where the contradiction lies. When I spot something that's off, I should touch the deduce button with conviction. And when I have found sufficient proof to prove the contradiction, I present it. This is how I do things. There's only one bullet shot, but there are 2 bullets in the office. This bullet hole is a contradiction. What do you mean, sir? It's elementary, my dear Watson. 2 shots were fired in this room. The first felled the victim, and the second felled this frame. Hey, that's right! However, this gun was only fired once. Hey, that's true too. Which means that one of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. Did the killer have another gun prepared for tonight? By the way, I noticed something, sir. Yeah? What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame? Ah, that. It's a secret safe. It's a secret safe? Ooh, I smell money. I'll spare us the trouble and just say it. Nothing like what you're imagining is inside. Now, if you could kindly move this frame out of the way. Roger that. Talk about dusty. I suppose that's what happens when I'm not here to dust it once in a while. I had no idea there was a safe here, or I'd have kept it clean for you, sir. You know, you would actually think that if there was a picture in front of the safe at all times, and the picture would keep it safe from being dusty, but go off, I guess. So when did you put this thing in? It wasn't something I had installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one. Really? I had no idea. Well, only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence. So, what's inside, Mr. Edgeworth? Right now, nothing. We only use them to store especially important evidence when a trial is in session. That's it? Talk about squashing my hopes and dreams. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. I already know that it's this. Now this is odd. You found something, sir? This keypad. Don't you find it to be a bit too clean? Yeah, there's a thick layer of dust all around it, but not on the keypad itself. You there, the forensic scientist. Yes, sir. Could you please follow my dangly finger and dust this area for fingerprints? You got it, sir. I couldn't find, let alone lift, a single print. Looks like it was wiped down well. Secret safe data updated. As I thought. It appears that logic is the only way around this setback. Time to rationally and calmly connect the dots with the information we have. Okay, so... the killer knew about the safe happening. The safe actually being there. And it would have wiped down the fingerprints after it was done. I believe I have figured out what the murderer was after. Well, what is it, sir? The fact that the safe was wiped clean of fingerprints suggests that the criminal had at least attempted to open my safe. Making the culprit's motive for breaking and entering theft, I believe. I wonder if knowing that the motive behind this break-in was theft changes what the other pieces of information can tell me about this crime. So if the motive was theft... then what was his struggle about? There is a possibility that the files splayed on the floor are not the result of a struggle between the victim and his killer. Oh, you mean like it could be from when the killer tried to find something, sir? Precisely. We need to figure out if any of the files have been stolen. Yes, sir. I'm gonna show files like you've never seen before, even at a library. I'm sure. Let's give that a try. Why do all the good ones always die young? Surely you must ponder that every once in a while, Mr. Edgeworth. Bitch, get out the way. No matter how much we lament, the dead will not come back to life. All we can do is search for the truth. And? So what are we supposed to do? How do we go about finding the truth? First, we calmly restore the files to their rightful place. You got it! Here, let me help. So this file goes here, and that book goes there. You sure know a lot about where things go despite being in Mr. Edgeworth, despite it being Mr. Edgeworth's office. Because I'm the one who keeps it tidy, pal. Okay, done. It would appear that the murder was definitely committed here. Ugh. The bloodstains in the bookshelf are still fresh. I suspect that the victim was killed in a standing position, hence the prints on the shelf. And then the guy fell to the floor, right? The blood on the floor is kinda grossing me out. Detective, I don't have the time to deal with your weak stomach right now. You know I'm no good with blood, sir. I'm certain there's something wrong with this picture. First of all, this is where the bullet lodged itself after it went through the victim, huh? For the bullet to be lodged so squarely in a file's spine indicates that the files were ransacked after the shooting had occurred. Then I guess the victim was moved because he was in the killer's way. Then we have this puddle of blood. It appears the victim was in a sitting position here after being shot. Oh, so that's why the seat of the victim's pants has blood on it. That would be the logical conclusion. I put them all back just as they should be, sir. Doesn't look like anything's missing. Although it does look like the killer moved the body to flip through my shelves. I wonder if they found what they were looking for. Just a second. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? He was shot in the abdomen, man. There is clearly a contradiction here with this bullet hole. What do you mean, sir? You don't see. Quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. If the victim was shot in the stomach, the hole should be much higher up. But what if the guy was shot while he was sitting or lying down, sir? Then that would be illogical. The victim leaned against the shelf after being shot, which suggests that he was standing when he got shot. That means... Wait, what does that mean, sir? It means you need to use your brain every once in a while instead of mind, detective. In any case, it means someone made a faulty assumption. And it was from this mistake that our current contradiction was born. What is the faulty assumption that causes the problem with the bullet hole's position? Oh, the order of the files, of course. I believe the order of the files is a bit off. You mean I put them back in the wrong order just now? Hey, actually I think the labels in the files are wrong, sir. Oh. Yeah! You see here how the files that were shot begin with the number 0? What are those doing all the way down there after 1, 2, and 3? That's really weird. Actually, the way they are organized now is the correct order. They are exactly as I see them in my photographic mind's eye. But the numbers are all out of order. Those white binders are special, so they are arranged a little differently. From this, we know that the files are not in this order when the crime occurred. Aha, so that's it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption as you just did, detective. Let's rearrange the files in numerical order and see what we find out. Do you think it'd be okay to prop the body back up to show how it was before it was moved? They finished processing the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. If you please, Detective Gumshoe. As I suspected, the bullet hole is now where it should logically be. The killer went through my files first before shooting Mr. Faith. And then put the files back in numerical order, I guess. Exactly, and then proceeded to shoot the victim. But why would someone kill a man and then look through your files one more time? Puzzling indeed. The files were thrown into disarray twice, once before and once after the crime. But why? This... What is that? Why does it say gumshoe on there in blood? I'd say it's some incredibly incriminating evidence. Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed. No, wait, it's got to be some mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me! Say something, sir! It appears that one of my files was stolen. Is that all, sir? What about me and my situation? Is this what the killer was really after? Interesting. Looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of his killer in the end. And this most important message managed to reach us. I'm telling you, it wasn't me! You can't be terribly pleased to hear that your beloved partner is the guilty party. If you are going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being the culprit, I sincerely hope you have some proof to back it up. Jim's words, they're more than enough, wouldn't you say? If that's how you want to play it, then at least allow me to understand your reasoning. You got it! I don't like this one bit. There's something strange about this man's attitude. It's almost like he's the killer. And there must be some sort of flaw to his logic waiting for me to dig out. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you going to do? What I always do in court. I'm going to cross-examine him. I thought that was the defense's job, an ace attorney, to cross-examine the witness. But go off, I guess. One way or another, I'll expose the flaw in his logic with this technique. Ooh, how do you do that? Can you explain it to me, sir? Maybe some other time. Mr. Portsman, if you are ready. Oh, if you don't have time, you could just say so, sir. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. Further, you messed up some files to make it look like you had committed the theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. And it will be by his final words that you were brought to justice. You intend to argue that the victim's dying message points to his killer. I can hear Jim's voice, and he's calling out for his killer's arrest. Doesn't that technically mean that he's calling out for your arrest, bucko? Are you sure you're not mishearing his words, Mr. Portman? There is no way Detective Gumshoe is the culprit here. I will find the flaw in this man's logic, and expose it with credible evidence. You stole Jim's gun from him. You messed it up at the files to make it look like you had committed theft instead. It's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. And why would Detective Gumshoe do such a thing? Because the body was getting in his way. He had to mess up your bookshelf somehow, right? Anyway. But thanks to you, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. Why do you think that the killer didn't notice the bloody letters? The body was covering it quite well, wouldn't you say? That's how he missed it. But judging by what I've seen, it doesn't take much for your detective to miss something. Who do you think you are? You know nothing about me, pal. There's a lot a person can understand about another from first impressions alone. I can't say I disagree with him on that point. Why don't you say something, sir? Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Despite his lack of attention to detail, I don't believe the detective to be the culprit. Nobody could have overlooked the bloody letters, and I can prove it with evidence. I couldn't ask for a better setup. for the game-finishing spike. And it will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice. Yeah, you would think that he would see his name written on it if he took one of the files from it, right? Perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Portsman, but there is a serious flaw in your logic. We're bringing a bit of the courtroom into this, I see. No problem, I'm game. I can't help but find it odd. Excuse me? Odd that a fellow prosecutor would be brought down by the power of his own office. What are you talking about? Oh, you're joking. I get it. If you have the time to laugh, then you have the time to take another closer look at this. Do you still not see? If not, may I direct your attention to the missing file? What? That's impossible! What's impossible, Mr. Portsman? Nothing. The files on that shelf are all about a certain case. When the killer went to take the file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters written on the spines. It's possible that they could have taken the file before committing the murder. I think it's pretty obvious that the file was stolen after it was written on. The missing letters and the detective's name where the file should be is proof. Yeah, I mean, the S is gone and there's only half an H. And Detective Gumshoe really was the culprit of this case. I highly doubt that even he would overlook his own name written in blood on the files. Especially as a detective who can't stand the sight of blood. Which means, what exactly? What does that make this dying message? It makes it the work of a criminal intent on tampering with the crime scene. That's so low. I can't believe the criminal tried to pin this whole thing on me, sir. I'm gonna get him, sir. You'll see. I'm going to have him under arrest in no time. Well, Mr. Portsman? Brilliant! Absolutely splendid. Logic deserving of Olympic gold. I appreciate the praise, but it doesn't change the fact that your reasoning was flawed. Meh, you win some, you lose some. That's how life goes. Glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive. Ah, but you know, it really is a shame. I really didn't want to have to bring this up, however... What is it this time? Are you still after me, pal? Humor me for a second. Who has the key to this office? That would be me. But Mr. Edgeworth just proved that I'm innocent, pal. That's absolutely right! And I acknowledge your innocence. Then why do I sense that you still have something to say? What the fuck are you doing? Well, I was thinking, did you know that there is one other person with the key to this office? One other person. Oh, Gumshoe looks pissed. Hey, you there! Yes, sir. What is it, sir? Would you kindly fetch and escort that lovely young lady here for me? A lady? The girl is a member of this building's security. Think of her as a material witness. Security? Did you say security? No, stop it, pal. Don't! What's wrong with him all of a sudden? I believe she needs no introduction. I have called upon Miss Maggie Bird, a member of security. It's her! It's her! I love you, Maggie. You're precious. I love you. I wish you well. Did you know that Gumshoe loves you? He has a huge crush on you. Detective Gumshoe, sir. She looks so cute in this art style. Maggie. Miss Bird is a security guard on watch tonight. I see. And your point is? My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key, which can open all the office doors in this building. What? If you are not the guilty party, Detective Gumshoe, then the only other person with access to this room is Miss Bird. How dare you! I would never sneak into someone's room! That's right! I refuse to believe that Maggie is a culprit, pal. It was me. That's right, I did it. Can we take that as a confession, Detective? Oh, well, it wasn't really me, but it definitely wasn't Maggie, pal. So yeah, it was me. If it was, you'd have no problems with that, right? Please refrain from flying off the handle, Detective. There's no need for such theatrics. Listen to your boss, Detective. He understands what I'm saying here. Stop doing that. That's not flattering. Stop. That girl is the only one who could have committed the crime, and for one simple reason. It's pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key. I mean, Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door. But that leaves only Miss Bird as our prime suspect. On top of which, she knows our good detective, doesn't she? Making it all the more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. So you're saying she used the master key. Incredibly incriminating evidence, wouldn't you say? That's what you claimed about the evidence earlier as well. That was then, this is now. The flow of a good match always changes during a rally. It's all about your reflexes and reaction time, especially for an athlete like me. I wonder if there was anyone else other than Miss Bird who could have used a master key. It seems that the only way to get Mr. Portsman to give me more details is to press him. It's pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master's key. But Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door. And that leaves only Miss Bird as a prime suspect, on top of which she knows her good detective. All the more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and present some evidence. I would love to. First, we should listen a bit more and digest what he is saying. And press him for more information.
Hold it!
Are you sure Miss Bird is the only member of security who could have used a master key? There is only one person on staff at this time of night, and tonight she's it. It doesn't seem very safe, to be honest. You would think that there would be multiple people on the staff for security at a prosecutor's office, but I go off, I guess. Isn't that right, Miss Bird? That's, true, but I wasn't able to use the master key at the time of the crime, sir. Wasn't able to? What's that supposed to mean? Yes, moving on. I'd hate to get sidetracked by something unrelated. What do you mean unrelated? I want to hear what she has to say, pal. But you can't really trust her not to tell lies. Plus, I hate wasting time. Oh, you really should ask for more details, Edward. Edgeworth, not Edward. Miles Edgeworth, not Edward Elric. It's the bangs. It's the bangs. Didn't I just say it'd be a waste of time? We don't need to hear her lies. I'll be the judge of that. Miss Bird, if you please. I discovered that the master key was missing at around 1 AM, sir. What do you mean by missing? As in, it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it. Mr. Portsman, I believe this would be an important piece of testimony, don't you? I can't believe that someone like you would be taken in by such words. I'm not lying, sir. If that's the case, then I'd like to know why you have the master key now. I don't quite know. It just reappeared all of a sudden, sir. Ah, likely story. Where is your proof that the key was stolen to begin with? I bet you just forgot where you put it and then found it again. I never lose things. I can practically guarantee that. With me, if something disappears, it's usually because someone stole it. Yeah, pal, trust me, you don't want to test just how bad her luck is. Unfortunately, I can't deem this piece of testimony as conclusive. Glad you agree, Mr. Edgeworth. But, you still haven't established Maggie's motive for breaking into Mr. Edgeworth's office. Her motive? Didn't we already establish that it was theft? I mean, the culprit clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried the safe. It is as Mr. Portsman said, Detective. I can't ignore the fact that all the evidence points towards a motive of theft. But I'm done taking blows. It's time to counterattack with a few facts of my own. Throwing a mess up shows to wipe down safe, I'd say thievery. But... thievery. However, glad to hear that the great Miles Edgeworth is in agreement, let alone me. However, with regard to the investigation of the bookshelves in the safe... Hey, good thinking asking for opinions on the matter. Would it be too much for you to allow me to complete a full sentence? I mean, Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door. Excuse me. Only prosecutors know about these safes, bucko. Do you wish to continue insisting that Miss Bird was set on stealing something? Why not? It's the truth after all. It was also by your logic that we came to the whole thievery conclusion anyway. That may be, but you must also be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe. The existence of which is only privy to prosecutors. That peaked. I'm sorry, I'll try to lower that volume. I find it a little hard to believe that a hidden safe was part of her cunning plan. But she could have found it by accident while she was turning everything else upside down. I highly doubt that. I'd say the culprit knew exactly what they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted. Yeah, even I didn't know about that safe, pal. And that means that there's no way Maggie could have known about it either. Then are you proposing that the killer is a prosecutor? Interesting conclusion. That's definitely looking more and more probable. Oh, you look nervous, boy. You look nervous, bitch. What's wrong, prosecutor? Do you have a different suspect in mind now? Curses. Why? What made you... What's with the angry face all of a sudden? It's all my fault. What do you mean? It's Jim. He knew about the existence of the secret safes. What did you just say? We were partners, like inseparable conjoined twins. That's why I told him. I filled him in on the secret safes. Then that means... Yeah, I know. I'd only just told him too. Obviously, it was wrong of me to tell him. I still can't quite believe it. The thief who broke into your room was probably Jim. Now he's claiming that the victim was a thief? And you were simply trying to stop him, weren't you? Miss Maggie Bird. Excuse me? I mean, you are a security guard, right? That's your job. But killing is going a bit too far, even in your risky profession. What the? You're still accusing Maggie of the murder? Yes and no. I mean, she had stumbled upon Jim, who had probably drawn his gun. I get it. It was self-defense, wasn't it? No, I couldn't. I couldn't ever do something like that, not even as a security guard, sir. Plus, even if he was the thief, he wouldn't have had a key to this office. Which is precisely why he had to steal it, wouldn't you say? If it was Jim who stole the master key. Huh? Pretty impossible for a supposedly stolen key to be here with us, unless... Well, unless you retrieved it from Jim after you killed him. Mr. Portsman, are you honestly accusing your own partner of being a thief? I don't want to admit it, but it's the only way for everything else to make sense. Has he no honor? Now then, I think we're done here. The investigation waits for no man. Would you people be so kind as to see yourselves out? You can't kick us out. This is Mr. Edgeworth's office. Ah, but I'm the one who's been assigned to this case. You are all suspects to varying degrees and therefore ineligible to run this show. Listen, pal, how many times do I have to say this? Maggie can't be the culprit. Detective Gumshoe, calm yourself. Watch my finger. Stare at my finger. How hypnotic it is. How dangly. But sir, we have no choice but to accommodate his request. For now. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. At least one of you understands. Now then, if you can remove yourself from my crime scene, I'd be most grateful. Oh, it's your crime scene in more ways than one, buddy. Mark my words, Mr. Portsman. We will meet again. If that's a formal request from the legendary prosecutor himself, then I suppose so. Now don't disappoint me, you hear? And that is to be continued. And with that, I think that we're done for the day. My throat feels so sore. Anyways, if you guys are still watching, thank you all so much for watching. If you like this, please leave a like and comment down below. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you all next time. Until then, have a great day. You deserve it. Bye bye.